Welcome students to the first video of the data analysis section. So far you've been working very hard at creating a list of 20 movies. You've started with a basic template in Excel that only had the top line, so it had movie title and year, and you've filled in your own movies and your own years and all kinds of good information on that. Well done, and thank you. For those of you that haven't, we'll get you some other data that you can paste in, and then we can build from there. For the activity 2 in our spreadsheet, so spreadsheet number 2 activity that you should have found in the instruction set, some of the instructions are sometimes a little bit confusing. So I'd like to just kind of go over them in a video format to help you. If you'd rather go over them in the text format or in the pictures, you can follow the instructions as they've been given to you. For starters, we're going to start with the instructions that say, let's start with a number of movies. And in order to do that, I guess I've gotten ahead of myself, but you always have to click on the cell where you want the information to go first, and then you put the information you want into that cell. So let me just back up and say, I want to go to the cell A24. Okay, so I want to go to the cell A24, and then I want to type in number of movies. Okay, and then you need to get to the next cell beside it. So this is cell B24, and you can see that it's 24 is slightly grayed out, and the B is slightly grayed out just to help you know which cell you're in. And we're going to use a function called COUNTA. So once you tell the computer this is the cell I want the answer to go, the result, we're going to use our first ever function, sometimes called a formula, sometimes called a function. You can see there it says insert function. We're going to click on that, and it pops us open a window. And we don't need to click anywhere. It will automatically allow us to type in this top window. And so we're just going to type in COUNTA. Now you see mine came up right at the top anyhow, but for most of you it won't be there, and so you're going to click go, and then it's going to pop up here, and here that's going to be exactly what you want, so you're going to click OK. And then over here you can see it's guessing where it wants us to count, but it's wrong in this case. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, but we're going to count. We're not going to count the movie title because that's not a movie. We're going to start on cell A2, and I'm just clicking and dragging. So I started on cell A2, which for me was $1 Million Baby, and then I'm just clicking and dragging down, and I'm going to go one past the list. So I'm going to take the blank space there at 22. So you can see here when I let go, it fills in A2 colon A22. So we say that is A2 to A22. A2 to A22. Goodness, this is a tongue twister, and I didn't even intend it. Right over here, you can see the expected calculated answer that the computer is thinking we want, which is 20, which would be good. And then we just click OK. Now you can see here there's a 20 here. You might have 19 or 18 because you see it has to go down to 21 and because the title row doesn't count as a row and all that kind of stuff. So whatever number you have here, that's not what I'm marking you on. Okay, for this activity, for spreadsheet number 2 activity, what I'm marking you on is the formula that appears up here. Now, by the way, you may have a whole ribbon full of choices, so it might look more like this, quite busy, and so it sometimes might be hard for you to find this f of x button, but the f of x button looks like that, and you just click on it and create the code. Okay, I do like to just double click on the word home, and then it kind of hides it away, and it's a little more simple to follow. You can see everything a little more clearly, but if you'd like to keep it open, we can keep it open, and it'll be more busy. So there was the f of x button, and that's what we clicked. So that's literally all the instructions there, and now it's time to just do over and over, do that same thing. So the next one down, so now we're scrolling down in our list of things to do near the bottom, and this one says the newest movie. So I've clicked on the A25 cell, I've typed in newest movie, and now on the B25 cell, I'm going to click because that's where I want my answer to go. And here we're going to do that f of x button again. So I click the f of x button. I'm going to type in max because according to the instructions, that's what the instructions told me to do, was to do max. And there it comes up because I've clicked on go, and I can click OK. And then here what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll back up to the top of the year list, and I'm going to start with the cell B2, which for me is 2004, and I'm going to click and drag it down and drag it down and drag it down. And I'm going to go one past just to make sure my computer is calculating things properly. So it says B2 to B22, and the answer for me is 2005. The answer likely for you is going to be whatever year this activity is happening in. Just simply because most students choose at least one movie from the current year that they're in because they're excited about it. Possibly they haven't even seen it yet. So maybe you've chosen a movie that you haven't even seen yet that's coming out later this year, and that's going to be the number that you have. So again, I've clicked OK. The 2005 has shown up, and you can look up here at the top and you can see the formula equals max B2 to B22, and there's some brackets around it. So that's literally all we need to do there. There is a whole instruction set, and I'm not going to put that up on the screen right now because that will sometimes change, but there's a whole list of things that I'd like you to do next. So obviously the next one will be oldest movie. You could predict that. And in this case, the instruction set will tell you to use the min function, short for minimum. So I'm just going to demonstrate that as well. So we'll type in min and click on go. And there's the min function, and we'll click OK. And again, we want to highlight the years. So I'm going to do it upside down this time. I'm going to start on the blank cell for years, and start on the empty one. I'm going to go all the way up to the top and then just come back one. So again, it's B2 to B22. So the first time I dragged it down, and you can see here that the computer is calculating the answer to be 1925 is my newest movie. Now, if you're slightly underwhelmed by what's happening, please understand that in a later activity, when I give you 20,000 data points, possibly trees in our city or other things like that, I don't expect you to count through the 20,000 in order to find the answer. Let's say it's trees, and to find how many red maples there are in our city, and you're going to use a formula to do that, and so that, or a function. So that's what this is for. Yes, I know in this activity you could probably go through it and you could go, oh look, there's 1925. It's the smallest number. No problem. So please understand that for now we're just getting used to it, and we're using a small amount of data so that we can easily prove to ourselves that yes, the computer is calculating the right thing. So I'm going to pause there. I think the next one that you would have to do would be the average movie year. And so you're going to use the average function right there. And then the other one would be the median movie year. And I've always wondered to myself, what's the difference between the median and the average? Aren't they always the same thing? And so in this activity, you're going to discover that they're not. So I can go to the average movie, click f of x, in my search window, type in average, click go, there's average, and I'm going to highlight all of those years. I'm going to do it upside down again, let go. It says the average is this. I click OK. And then I'm going to go down to the median and do this again. Type in f of x, type in median. That's the hardest one for me to remember how to spell. I say, okay, that looks good. I'm going to highlight all of the years. There we go. I'm going to click OK. And those two numbers are different. So I'm going to leave that there. We can have another discussion some other day about average and median. There's probably other cells that you are going to be asked to do. Please note that some of them might not be A, 25 or 28, and B. They might be J or K, which just means you need to scroll over and put them over there. All right. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.